What's up, y'all? Good evening. Welcome to Nightcap with Scone, presented by Hoodco Roofing and our good people over at mycleanliving.net. Certainly relevant now. Air purifiers, proven to wipe out COVID. If y'all are interested, I'll post the link for My Clean Living in both the Facebook and YouTube chat. So, all right, what's up, y'all? Hope you're having an awesome night. Thanks for hanging out with us here. LSU set to open up fall camp tomorrow. Excuse me, they report to fall camp tomorrow. That'd be Thursday. And then they will, Tigers will hit the practice field on Friday. And of course, the Saints are already on the practice field, wrapping up the first week of camp. Tomorrow, Thursday, is the Hall of Fame game. Believe it or not, we've got football. We've got actual, it's a football game tomorrow, and I'm pretty jacked about that. So, I know the drill, man. Let me know what you're sipping on. If you're on YouTube, please smash that like button. Facebook, please like the page, share the post, like the page, share the post, like the page, share the post. Let's give some shout outs, see what y'all got going on. Making my way through my samples my buddy Stephen Roby gave me. This is pure Kentucky small batch XO 107 proof. That's what I'm sipping tonight in my Bourbon Society of Baton Rouge, Glencairn. So shout out to B Sober, BSOBR. All right, let's say some good evenings, man. John Harrington, Will Burton, I love the energy. Trivia Carter, what's up? Merrick Mathern, Bubba Tatum. Not wiping my feet trivia. It's late and I'm uncomfortable. Sorry about that, Bubba. Well, I'm not sorry, but it is 9:26. A little later than I normally am, so I apologize for that. But had a little issue with one of Drew's medicines that he gets, so Erica had to run to CVS to get that med that he needed, and was on daddy duty getting him bathed and all that stuff. So anyway, Travis Lauren, Val Browning, Murder Giraffe. Can I curse now, or is it too early? You can curse. Nightcap, Scone, curse away. John Harrington, Matt, you do this every Wednesday? Yeah, man. Started this during quarantine and when nobody had anything to do. So, yeah, man, we're rolling. So Wednesday nights, usually around 9 o'clock. Join us. Merrick Mathern, where'd you get the shirt? I honestly don't remember. I'll say this, and I don't mean it to be conceited in any way, but like people send me stuff all the time, like shirts and koozies and prints and baked goods. You just stuff that they maybe want me to promote or so, whatever, or just as a friendly favor, whatever. I don't remember a listener sent me this shirt. I don't remember who it was. Actually, hold on. Wait, I think I do remember. I think it was Arky Shea who did that. So Arky Shea used to do radio in, I think, Birmingham or Huntsville with Cole Kubelik. And then they got laid off. And I'm pretty sure Arky started hang on, let me see. Oh, is that it? Wait, hang on. Shirts, here it is. It was Arky Shea, I bet you. There it is. There it is. Here, I will post it in the chat. Here it is. Here's the link to the shirt. So Arky sent me this shirt. It's been a while, but anyway. Pels offered Chris Paul 3 years, $100 million. I don't blame him for not coming back. He's close to winning a championship. Cliff Nelson, what's up, man? Can't stay on tonight, still working, sipping on my new Woodford Weeded. There you go, man. Thomas Frazier, Scott Thibodeau, Trey Day, Deshaun Watson allegedly kept asking a masseuse to go inside his butt. I don't know, man. I guess to each their own, but that does not seem appealing to me in any way. But to each their own. If you're down with it, whatever. Craig Duga, what up? Gerald Mathern, good evening. Brandon English, what's up, man? Julio Mendez, hey, Dad, good evening. Jeremy Brinkmeyer, little Four Roses. There you go, man. Which one? Cameron Ware. Danny Fenster is still incarcerated illegally. Cameron, I don't know who Danny Fenster is, so sorry about that. Andrew Brister. So Jameis can't make it through tackle dummies. How many wins do the Saints get with him as our quarterback? Come on, bro. I saw that video too, but who cares? How many times do you realistically do that in a game? Hopefully he's not getting hit. I don't need him running. And he held on to the ball. Pat Huseman, what's up, man? Craig Dugas. There you go. Elijah Craig barrel proof. Went heavy on the pour, so probably be down for the count in the next 40 minutes. I don't blame you. Gerald Mathern, a little Bardstown. Sam Bacon, what's up, Sam Bacon? Matt French. Derek Hudnall, drinking whatever I got left. Bourbon and Bass. Pat Huseman, little Buffalo Trace, ain't nothing wrong with that, man. William Kimbrough. Sam Bacon, looking forward to seeing what the O-line looks like and the defense looks like. Yeah, man, O-line, I think is just definitely this gigantic feeling of uncertainty and unease. That's how I feel about this O-line going in, man. I just got to see it. And even beyond the first five, which I believe the starting five can be really good, you have no depth. I mean, when you're sitting there touting Anthony Bradford and Garrett Dellinger as your next two, where's everybody else, man? You know? Where's Cordell Thomas? Where's Charles Turner? Where's Marlon Martinez? You know, where are these guys that apparently haven't developed? It's concerning, man. It's got some heat on it. Wow, it's got a little pop. 107 proof. That's hot for 107. Jeremy Brinkmeyer, what's a good price point for Stag or Stag Jr.? Had my first the other day. So, I believe Stag Jr., if you can find it, is going to run you around 70, 75 bucks. George T. Stag is a B-tack, and you're just not going to ever find that on a shelf. I personally would never pay a secondary price for it. But George T. Stag is really good. The past few years, releases have been awesome. I think 2018 or maybe 2019 was the highest rated ever on Breaking Bourbon. I mean, I got a Stag Jr. right there. Right there. Well, that's on Facebook. On YouTube, the Stag Jr. is right there. Anyway. Alex Roboleski, what's up, man? Pat Huseman watching Varsity Blues. Can't believe Billy Bob's no longer with us. How about that? That is weird, man. He lost a whole bunch of weight. Like, he had lost like 400 pounds. It's a shame, man. Brandon English drinking some. My son knows, dude. I still have not replied to you, Brandon. Oh, my God. Now it's like buried in my email. I got to go find it. That's on me, dude. Hey, bump that email, Brandon, if you would. Just reply and forward it again so it bumps up to the top of my email, if you would, please. And I'll reply tonight, I promise. I promise I will. I promise. Craig Dugas, a 10. Freaking, I give it a 10. Miss Davis, you want to go prom with me? Hey, Cameron Ware, like, respect, man. You're fighting the good fight for someone who's imprisoned, and okay, but like, that's not. I'm just gonna go ahead and mute you on here, bro. Like, that's, you know. We're just not, I mean, God bless, we're talking about football and whiskey here. You just got the wrong show. So, you know, thanks anyway, though, man. Good luck. Heath Williams, what's up? Gerald Mathern, Matt, were you drinking again? I missed it. I have got, from my buddy Stephen Robeek, Pure Kentucky Small Batch XO 107 proof sample. Hooked me up with a whole bunch of samples, so giving that one to go tonight. Got some heat on it, bro. Old Elk Weeded. There you go, Derek. That's always a good pick. Which Stag Jr. is the GTS killer, 12 or 13? Honestly, Craig, I'm not a huge fan of Stag Jr. Like, it is so hot for me, man. I gotta throw it on a rock, and I know, or an ice sphere. I know people who will think that's blasphemy, but it's what it is, bro. Did you say Hall of Fame game is tomorrow night? Hell yeah, Merrick. You got a Hall of Fame game tomorrow night. Trey Day, what's up, man? Cliff Nelson. Don't forget to clap before you smash the like button. Murder Draft. Gotta hate the new mask mandate. We're going backwards. Murder Giraffe, I'll put it to you this way, man. For me, so last year, y'all know how I felt about the shutdown. I think we did more harm with the shutdown last year than COVID actually did. We isolated a very clear demographic that was at risk, and it was a microscopic percentage that were affected. We counted cases instead of actual, like, real sick people and how it was affecting our lives practically. We did more harm last year than good. I do understand right now, and the great news today is the Baton Rouge General got some 70 nurses here from a federal program to come help, because the problem is when you don't have enough people to work or beds to put these patients, then you end up having ICU patients in the hallway. Now, what happens when the rest of the world goes along? What if you have a heart attack? You have a heart attack, they rush to the hospital, well, there's no ICU beds. You put a heart attack patient in the hallway? Like, that's the problem, man. So it's just that the infrastructure of our medical system is overwhelmed. So you got to slow the spread to let them catch up. So, look, I'm not down with masks. I mean, I'm the same way as everybody else, but we have a vaccine. Get it. Wear your mask. Hopefully this thing burns up in a couple weeks. We're not going back to full shutdown mode like we did last year. We're just not going to shut down like we did. Our country can't do it again. So if that's the compromise that's going to help slow the spread, I'm okay with that. Let's see. Darren Pellegrin, Jefferson's very small batch. What's up, man? Michael Wells, good evening from Talking Rock, Georgia. Trivia, Bubba has Air Force relatives overlooking. 44, the legendary. Do you feel the season is a wrap after the injury to Miles Brennan? I don't. I mean, I do think Brennan was going to start the opener. I said many times that I didn't know if he would hold that job based on how he played. That was going to determine that. But I think Max Johnson is more than capable, and might even be the better option short and long term. I really worry, though, if anything happens to Max, now you're really in trouble, because I don't want a true freshman and Nussmeier running out there. And you can say, well, you had two true freshmen play last year, and that's true, and the offense wasn't the problem, but man, what I saw from Nussmeier in the spring game with the turnovers really made me worried. I think the game has to slow down for him a bit, so. SG, what up? Billy Mathern landed a bottle of Bland's this past weekend. There you go, man. Daryl, what's up? Hey, Matt. Daryl, you're the one who texted me. You think they're about to blindside skull punch LSU home games with the COVID resurrection? I do not, Daryl. And LSU today, I'm not sure if you saw this, even released a statement to season ticket holders, a memo, saying they are not anticipating any changes to home games. So I think that's a great thing. So I am not anticipating, maybe I'm naive, but I am not anticipating a shutdown. I'm not anticipating any type of changes to home games. Murder Draft, did you get the overrated, underrated segment from Bill Burr? No, I don't know who Bill Burr is. I heard Gary Vaynerchuk do it, and I liked it. I was like, I think I might be able to do that. So that's where I heard it. I heard it on his podcast. But all great ideas really are stolen. I mean, around the SEC is an idea that really I took from Colin Cowherd spanning the globe 10 years ago. And I mean, in some respect, all ideas like that are stolen. You just put your own twist on it. You don't know who Bill Burr is. I don't know who Bill Burr is. Who's Bill Burr? Now y'all are like incensed that I don't know who Bill Burr is. I don't know Bill Burr. Sorry. Actually, I'm not sorry. I don't know Bill Burr. Let's see, Munchie 1127, Cardell Thomas transfer candidate. Maybe. Maybe. By the time, listen, I know he had his injury his freshman year. Not going to play that season anyway. I mean, maybe special teams, block down on the field goal unit or something like that, but he wasn't going to play. As bad as they were last year at times on the offensive line, for him not to be able to crack the rotation is concerning. I mean, it's everything that I was told during recruiting, which was he got a big recruiting ranking because he was a huge kid mauling smaller kids. When he went to the elite camps, you saw his rating drop because when he was going up against some of the best defensive linemen in the country, he really struggled. And the word on him is that he carries too much weight on the top half, and that's been a challenge. So, yeah, I think he is a transfer candidate. Michael Wells, FSU, Clemson to the SEC. No, Michael, because it just doesn't make sense financially, because you already have schools in Florida and South Carolina. So you're not going to add any TV subscriptions, any cable subs to your package. So it doesn't make sense financially at all because those two brands collectively are not big enough to increase the pot. I think too many people just think what makes sense from a football standpoint and competitively, and that's not the reason that you expand. You expand for revenue purposes, and Texas and OU will increase the pot significantly enough to where everybody gets a bigger piece. Florida State and Clemson wouldn't. So no. Now, when the day comes and we're having the conversation about having one college football, yes, but that's not today. Let's see. Craig, nothing wrong with throwing it on a rock. The only way I can handle 1792 foolproof. Same with that, but that's like, man, I had a buddy who was drinking, Eagle Rare 18 last night, and he sent me a picture of it on a sphere, and I was like, oh no. Why did you send me that? It just ruined my night. Ryan Dixon, Lake Tahoe this weekend. California's wide open. Yeah, Ryan, that's what I've heard, man. I mentioned this on AFR. I talked to a doctor in Los Angeles who's a friend on Monday and was like, yeah, there's no restrictions here. Like, of course there's going to be a full stadium for UCLA. I was like, perfect. Great. Craig, by the way, if you balls want some delicious nectar, go to Misano's, get a Nulu toasted rye. Ah, good to know. Good looking out. Alex Robleski, what are your thoughts on the vaccine? So Alex, I am not anti-vaccine. I get a flu shot every year. My hold up on the COVID shot was that it was so new and we didn't know much about it. My whole family had COVID last year. None of us were affected by it, least of which was Drew. So I was okay holding off. I changed my mind whenever I started seeing that this variant was impacting kids. And, we had the whole the COVID conversation with our all of Drew's doctors last year, and they were all fine because it wasn't affecting kids. And all of them, their tone is changing this year because of this variant. So for me, it's an issue with Drew, where like if my son who's got a heart defect and pulmonary insufficiency, if he is at a heightened risk, then of course I'm doing anything I can to. It would be completely negligent of me not to get the vaccine. So I got it. Erica's been having it, and I went and got it last week. And I have a relative very high up in healthcare in this city who called me and was like, honestly, cuz like, you need to get the vaccine. I was like, all right, what should I get? He goes, Pfizer, it's the best one. I was like, okay, I got Pfizer. Craig Duga, Basil Hayden toast has been released. A little weary of it. Revisited BH a while back. Tasted like water. Yeah, Basil Hayden is mild. It's a good starter for someone who wants to start and spend $35, you know. Sean White, what's up, man? Just puts my sound of 1792. Never had a new loop. Reagan Lee, hate this for Miles so much. Being faithful to the team, however, in reality, with Max starting the season, if it goes well, is this potentially and hypothetically the end of Miles at LSU? Probably Reagan. And listen, so what I was initially told after the injury was it's an 8-week deal, which would put him back sometime early October. We had Dr. Etheridge, who's LSU's head team physician, on AFR yesterday, and he said 6 to 8 weeks if everything goes perfectly, you know. But realistically, if you have setbacks, it could be another month or two. So then that might put you like at November, which would mean Bama. By that point, I can't imagine you're in a scenario where you'd be looking to change quarterbacks. I hope not. And I don't know that Miles Brown's a guy that's gonna stick around for a 6th season. So anyway, probably. So that, I mean, is it the end of his time at LSU? Probably. You know, and would he go somewhere else to play a 6th year? I don't think so. I mean, I think you try to just go play pro ball. I mean, and you can say, well, with what basis? I mean, I could point out Matt Castle. You know, Matt Castle was Matt Leinert's backup, never played at SC, and still was taken by the Patriots. Backed up Tom Brady, and then ended up getting a big contract. You know, played the 1 year when Brady tore his ACL in 2008, and got the big contract in Kansas City. So, I mean, it happens. Pat Huseman, I don't know about trips to Austin, because Austin is weird. But I can't wait to go to Norman. Most people would feel the opposite, right? You'd rather go to Austin than Norman. Gerald, you know I'm a Weller fan, love my 12s, but these Old Elk Store picks are pushing. Call your buddy, talk him into a 12-year lease. I will, Gerald. Well, actually, you saw Julio Mendez is watching. He's cousins with Luis, who's the CEO of Old Elk. So, I mean, they're watching. I'm telling you, Old Elk is doing great stuff. I mean, that's all. Dude, it's freaking, I mean, you got Greg Metz. You know, Greg Metz was the guy who made all the juice at MPG. I mean, like basically everything you drink, that guy distilled. I mean, they're awesome. Wild Turkey Masters keep release this year's toasted as well. Jamie Fortenberry, what really happened with Miles? He was at a fishing camp and he fell down some stairs. Like people think the word's out that he was drunk. I was told he was not. I mean, it was just a freak accident. So he was at a fishing camp, fell down some stairs. It sucks. Cameron Carter, I actually think this could be good. Mad Max will now be the quarterback going forward. We now have a quarterback that has 3 years left. Will be the quarterback as long as he's healthy. I hate this for Brennan though. I mean, you know, Cameron, it is easy to say that, but that's assuming everything goes perfectly, right? I mean, wasn't last year an indicator that things rarely go perfectly? You know, I mean, you go into the season thinking, all right, this is Brennan's time. You're 3 games in, and now you're playing 2 true freshmen. Yeah, he did not break his arm fishing. Like that's, I mean, how would you break your arm fishing? Like I've heard that a bunch. Like he was at a camp and fell down some stairs and broke his arm. Depth is so scary. Quarterback. I feel TJ may have been influenced to transfer by family. Brother, listen. It's not TJ may have been influenced. TJ Finley wanted to stay. His parents were the ones pushing him to transfer. And listen, everyone makes a decision that's the best for them and their family and whatever. And go back and listen to the interview TJ Finley did on AFR when he said, sometimes your parents make decisions that they think are best when they don't really know, but you love them and you go with go back and listen to the interview on AFR. Like TJ Finley did not want to leave. That was very much his parents' influence. And another thing to keep an eye on is whether or not TJ Finley's brother ends up at Auburn. He's a receiver for the class of 2023, I believe. He's 22 or 23. And he was not going to get an LSU offer. And see if he ends up at Auburn. Ryan Dunn, brand new bottle of Dasani. Good for you. Hydrate. GK Wells, updated for you on a live show from LA. We are GK. Hester and T-Bob Friday, AFR Friday from LA. Saturday pregame from LA. Location still TBD. Big Doug 44. Matt, love the overrated underrated. Thank you, Big Doug. Appreciate that. Andrew Repass. Does Miles stick around or transfer to Ole Miss to replace Corral next year? Again, Andrew, I'm not sure that Miles wants to play 6th year of college football. Murder draft, frustrating to be vaxxed and still have to wear the mask. I get that. I mean, because we were told get vaxxed and you don't have to wear a mask. I get it. I do. I understand it completely. And I understand it completely. Trade day, drinking Rebecca Creek with El Cubano white label cigar. There you go, man. Sounds like a good night, man. Bob Jones. So, dude, son of not only an NFL quarterback, but of a quarterback coach. Yeah, bro. He'll be fine. You know what? Now that y'all said Bill Burr, Ryan Bigham, stop this and go watch him now. Did Bill Burr, now that I'm thinking of that, is he the guy? I don't know who he is, but I think I saw him on SNL. I did see him on SNL. Okay, I recognize him. I don't know who he is. I've never heard any of his stand-up, but I saw him host SNL this year. Didn't know who he was then. Don't know anything about him, but I did like him on SNL. He was good. Ray Baker. Full capacity on the home opener. Yeah, Ray. I mean, if I had to take money to a ticket window in Vegas today and bet, does LSU have 100% capacity for the home opener? Yeah, I'd say yes. Now, I don't think there'll be 102,000 people because who the hell really cares to watch LSU play McNeese? But it's what it is. Michael Wells, I feel for Brennan, but Max is the better quarterback. You know, Michael, it's so hard to say that though, man. Like, you're operating off a sample size of 2 games in a horseshit year. I mean, I don't know that either of them, honestly, are going to be great pro quarterbacks. Like, honestly. I mean, I think Max has some poise, which is really, really good. Miles has a better arm. Max is a better athlete. Ryan Clark probably said it best about Max. He goes, that's how it's supposed to look, right? Like, in the sense that it's almost robotic. Like, technically, it's how it's supposed to look for a quarterback. But is he the guy that's going to be a championship-winning quarterback? I don't know. I think we still have a lot to see. But then again, I'm not going to judge a guy the same way that I'm not going to, like, make sweeping decisions praising a guy based on 2 games. I'm not going to judge him. I mean, think of it this way, Michael. Think of it this way. TJ Finley's first game was that game against South Carolina. Brother, he was a stud in that game. I mean, he threw the 1 pick and even coming to the sideline, he's tapping his legs. My bad, he knew his mistake. Dude threw for 250 yards. It was a stud against South Carolina. Better arm than all of them. I mean, small sample, man. Jarrett Lee led LSU to a comeback win on the road at Auburn as a redshirt freshman in 2008. That season didn't end so great, man. LSU fan, hated for Brennan. Dude can't catch a break. Happy for Johnson, though. The silver lining, undeniably, the single silver lining is now you go into camp not divvying up reps. Max gets all of the first-team reps. Max owns the huddle. Max gets to work on his timing with the receivers, his cadence with Shanahan, his timing with the running backs, all of it. It's his team. And so now you don't split 2 weeks worth of reps trying to decide who's going to be the guy. You don't cause division within the team where some guys wanted Max and some guys wanted Miles. Like, you know, You got your guy. Roll. Matt, you got to check out some Bill Burr. He's on his way to fill in the void left by Carlin. He's a sports fan and uses sports references frequently. Hilarious, clever dude. Check him out. Okay. He's a fan of LSU as well. That's cool. Do you think they will offer free football tickets to get the vaccine? Oh, are they giving out cash or something like that for people to get the vaccine? I wanted Miles to start, but now we have maximum amount of Johnson. I don't want to be inappropriate, but I kind of do want to ask Brad Johnson, like, why he named his kid Max. I mean, come on, man. What are we doing? I mean, it's kind of awesome, but at the same time. Leandro Lewis, hey, Matt. My buddy works for a sports distributing company in Arizona. I'm going to get you a bottle of some local Arizona whiskey. Are you down? Absolutely. Thank you, Leandro. Always down to try new stuff. Thank you. Thomas Frazier. Drunken fell probably a little shit happens. No, I mean, I was told point blank that he was not drinking, that he was not drunk, that it was just a falling getting into the boat. It's not falling getting into a boat. Eric Wilder, I've always wondered if you're a spoon man out in public. Do you think you're late from commercial break? Any story behind landing on that song for the show? So, yeah, my spoon man sounds like scone man, and so for years, my cousin Mark would always go scone man, stuff like that. And so I needed an intro, loved it. Boom. That's it. That's really all the story. And that was in January of 2010 when we launched the show, and I've had the same intro for 11 years. With some additions, like we added Icky Woods, we added Derek Mason, Let's Ride, we added Toby Tomplay, but the core of the intro has been the same for 11 years. Why does it matter if he was drunk? He's human, it happens. You would just hate it if it was something stupid, you know. Julian Wilson, Saints talk, please. Sure. Julian, I'm really excited that they signed Quan Alexander. It was inevitable, worst kept secret ever. Jameis Winston is the starting quarterback. It's not even a real quarterback competition. It's long been decided. Sean decided long ago. It's Jameis. I should be worried about receiver, but I'm not because Sean always manages to get guys open in the pass game. If it's receivers, running backs, tight ends, I'm not worried about it. I am worried about cornerback. And I do think they are going to have to make a trade for a starting caliber cornerback. You cannot go into this season with Prince Amukamara and Paulson Adebo and P-Rob as your boundary corners, depending on what happens with Lattimore and his suspension. Let's see. I'm get G-Bar before I get my vaccine and burn the fucking face diaper? What is that? I don't know what that means, Brett. Tell me thank you on air tomorrow after you watch Burr. I'm not going to watch. I'm just going to be very honest with you, Ryan. I'm not watching Bill Burr tonight. I'm probably never going to watch Bill Burr. It's not because your recommendation wasn't any good. It's just that's not what I spend my free time doing. I spend time doing this. I create content all day. I do Morning Scone. I do Locked on LSU. I do AFR. I do this. And when I'm not doing all this, I'm doing HUDCO stuff. By the way, if you need a roof, HUDCO Roofing. Love the opportunity to come give you a free, no obligation roofing inspection. HUDCO Roofing. HUDCOroofing.com. All over the state of Louisiana, by the way. When you call the phone number, you press 1 for the Shreveport-Bossier office. You press 2 for the Baton Rouge office. Anyway, but yeah, I'm not going to watch Bill Burr. I'm just not. Who are you hearing around the program as players to watch? Be really better if you gave me like something more specific, like a position. Like I think Major Burns is going to start at safety. they keep raving about Ty Davis Price, but I got to see it. You know, when you return like 20 starters, you know, it's there aren't a lot of unknowns. Jarrett Lee should have played in the national championship game. Jarrett Lee would have got his ass kicked in the national championship game all the same. Maybe someday I'll write the book. Like, he was the exact quarterback that couldn't function against that Alabama defense. The idea LSU fans had that Lee would have made a difference is just stupid. Scott Thibodeau, I'm going to McNeese against LSU. Good deal, Scott. Trivia, any suggestion for cigars? I love Monte Cristos. AJ Fernandez is also fantastic. A couple good recommendations there. Brandon DeVille, Jabril Cox should get some playing time tomorrow night with Cowboys. Yep, absolutely should. Curious to see if Lyell's back out there as well. I know he's been battling some injuries, but I think he's good to go. Ryan Dunn, speaking of Spoon Man, did you have any other songs in consideration for your theme? Nope. When I tell y'all, man, like, when AFR launched, I don't know if y'all actually care about this, but when AFR launched, I was literally the only employee of the station. Hannah Griff worked at Guarantee, and I guess in title was the program director, but really, and I love Charlie, but really didn't, there wasn't anything to program. I was the only local show, and we were on ESPN the whole rest of the time. And Cade produced my show, but did a lot of other stuff around the station. I mean, I did everything. So it wasn't like we had this big team of people putting together an intro, or I literally edited that whole thing together myself like 11 years ago, 11 and a half years ago. Let's see. We need Winston just to manage the game, utilize Hill in the same fashion when Drew is the quarterback. I agree with that on Hill for sure. I think, and Larry Holder made a really good point today on AFR, though, that Taysom Hill has lost weight in an effort to win the starting quarterback job. And that's interesting because I'm curious how effective he could be in his slash role. Having lost weight. Have you been DMCA on YouTube for Spoonman yet? I don't know what DMCA is. Like, does that mean like they pull my stuff down? No, they haven't. Probably because it's covered up by so much other stuff. It's not just like playing the song for so long. There's sound bites and me talking over it. So no. Brett is having a stroke. Mask is a face diaper. Oh. Brett is that? Oh, that's... Sorry. Munchie, aka is the easiest number one pick in fantasy this year. You know, I've never played fantasy football ever. So I'm just such the most awful person ever to talk to or ask about fantasy football. Murder Giraffe, just get vaccinated. It's easy and it's free. True. It was easy and it was free. And there is an undeniable correlation between, or disparity among vaccinated and unvaccinated people who are hospitalized. I mean, that is really the thing about this one that's just different is, I mentioned I have a relative who's high up in hospital administration who straight up told me, he's like, look, man, there are like healthy 20 and 30-year-olds in intensive care who should not be in intensive care right now. Like, the variant is just different. I mean, is it still a microscopic percentage? Yes, absolutely. But it's just a risk I'm not going to take with a special needs child. Let's see. Is Danny Hellick a good quarterback? No. Look, lady, are these your muffins? I'm smashing your muffins. I don't know what that means. That's probably a Bill Burr thing again. Ray Baker. I know everyone will be watching the D-line and corners, but I'm most excited about Prince Ojulari. Seeing what leap he could take year one and year two is definitely going to be interesting. I'll remind you that, you know, you've got Ali Gay and Andre Anthony back, so Ojulari probably isn't going to be an every down guy. You know, he may be a third down edge rush guy, but he's got a role. Who's starting Rub for LSU? I guess that's running back. The way they've talked about Ty Davis Price, I'll go ahead and say that, but I think John Emery just has the bigger upside. He needs to splash this year. Merrick Mathern, who's doing LSU camp coverage with Jordy gone? Great question. I have no idea, Merrick. I have no idea. I'm so sad about it, too. We're going to have to retire the If You Like Jordy Colada song. I don't know. Maybe I'll think about that tomorrow. I should have thought about that already, right? But whatever. Jordan Jefferson wasn't better. Neither was particularly good. The dimension Jordan gave you was the ability to run if a play broke down, which if you remember the 9-6 game, that was the only reason LSU ever moved the ball in the game. They pulled Jarrett because he got happy feet and threw a couple of picks, which wouldn't have been any different in the championship game. But the thing, guys on that team have told me is, Les was convinced that the option was going to beat Alabama, that they were going to hit him with the option, and Bama wasn't going to be able to stop it with LSU's backs and Michael Ford and Kenny Hilliard and all the guys, Spencer Ware, all the guys, and then Jordan as a running threat, and it was like, man, the first fucking series just annihilated. It was like, oh shit, what do we do now? And they basically practiced the option for a month to get ready for that game, and it's a shame. Man, was deer in headlights, man. Matt, I have the Saints winning the division again this year. Your thoughts? I don't think so, Randall. I think the Saints are going to be a victim of their lack of depth this year. I don't know how it goes any other way. But I do think they can still be a playoff team. I don't think there's any doubt that can happen, especially with an expanded playoff. Let's see. Shoot, man. I need to jump back onto some of these. My bad on the Facebook, y'all. Please like the page, share the post here on Facebook. Smash the like button if you're on YouTube. Like I've told y'all before, I'll stay as long as y'all are here and y'all want to hang out. Did the Pelicans make it past the first round of playoffs this season? No. Murder Giraffe, it's not about percentages, it's about people's lives. So here's where I have a problem with that. And I'll walk this road with you, Murder Giraffe. Because when you make a comment like that, and you're gonna piss me off a little here. Not intentionally, I know, but when you make a comment like that, now you have to make a decision of moral relativity. How many lives are worth saving? Because I'll give you a for instance. I watched my son in the neonatal intensive care unit for 7 months, okay? 7 months in intensive care. 7 fucking months in intensive care. And every single day I was there. Every day. Babies died. I was around death every single fucking day. And do you know how many babies I watched die because they contracted RSV? Do you know how many more babies would live if we'd all fucking wear masks and if everyone got a Synagis shot, which is expensive as fuck, but if we did it, you know how many babies would live? But are those lives not worth saving? See, this is where you get into moral relativity and you start getting into a numbers game. It's not about numbers. Then what? Every life is precious. That's not the question. Of course it is. If you are a pro-life person, every life is precious. Every life matters, and all death is tragic. The point remains, we have a society, a world of 7 billion people, and every day people are going to die some way or another. As much as that sucks, it's also part of life. And so you manage risk in everything you do. So for me and my family, with a child who spent 7 months in neonatal intensive care, who came home on oxygen, who has gotten RSV twice since he's been out of the hospital because the fucking insurance company won't pay for his goddamn shot, and it's over $5,000. Twice when he's gotten RSV, we've had to put him back on oxygen. The only reason he wasn't back in the hospital is because we have a fucking hospital in our bedroom. I got a concentrator on the other side of the wall. I got coils of cannulas to cannulize my son. Fuck out of here. Breathing treatments and shit. I mean, we got a pulse oximeter where we can measure his sats. Anybody else got that in their house? I do. But my point is, we're still going to live our lives. We're going to take every necessary precaution to make sure that he is as safe as he can possibly be while we live our lives. But I'm not going to ask you to stop living yours because my child is at risk. You want to have this conversation? Come on, bring it all fucking day, man. No, listen, I know you said you didn't mean to piss. I get it. No, I get it. But this is something not just you, but it's something everybody needs to hear. It's something because that's the argument listen, I don't care what side you're on. If you're an extreme right, if you're extreme, I don't give a fuck, I'm neither. But that's the point, that too many people, well, every life, like it's not a numbers game, it's a lot. Yeah, fuck yeah it is. Why are we still driving cars? People drive on the fucking road every single day and die. Why are we driving cars? But we should walk everywhere is what we should do so people don't die in car wrecks. Every single day, we all make choices and we weigh risk with those choices, with how we live our lives. And this should be no different. Yes, every life is precious, every death is tragic, and all life should be protected at what cost it can be. But think about all of the other issues you create when you shut down our world like we did last year. It exponentially exacerbated the problems of COVID, more so than even the people who lost their lives due to it. The difference this year is we have a vaccine. Get the fucking vaccine, wear a mask, let's go on with life. And the car analogy does work, dick face. It absolutely fucking works. You wanna know why it fucking works? Because there are people who kill people in vehicles every single day if you're not the one who caused the accident. Bro, you don't want to fuck with me on something like this. Because you want to talk about having like absolutely no nerve endings? Spend your life in a hospital for 9 months. Watch your infant go through 8 surgeries. Fuck you. The fuck are you complaining about? And you know what? I'm the lucky one. Every fucking day I watch families weep in the hallway because their baby died. Fuck out of here. Do you believe Florida State and Clemson are in legitimate talks with the SEC? No. I believe they'd ask. Let's do an A for our Old Elk Barrel pick. I'm down. I'm game and have a liquor license collab Scone. Craig, we're in some talks. I think we're probably going to end up doing an AFR Sazerac pick, actually. We've been talking about that. I think that's going to happen. What happened to Jarrell Cherry? He's still on the team. Just a struggle to find his role, man. It's kind of a tweener. Where are we? Kirk, who pissed off Scone. No, it ain't about being pissed off. And Murder Draft, you gotta realize, bro, like, I'm not pissed at you. You're just echoing sentiments that a lot of people have that are bullshit. Because you say that with respect to COVID, but you don't think about how that affects how what you said is relevant to so many other things in life that we could prevent. Like, okay, people get the one person that gets secondhand smoke and die. Should every human being not be allowed to smoke because the one? Anyway. Haha, Matt can be a savage. You're fucking right I can, bro. Like, my priorities in life are in line. And I know what matters to me. Like, I can love football and be passionate about it. But, like, that is what matters to me. That's it. Like any other parent. If you're a parent, you're watching this, you get it. Your challenge might be different than the one we face, but you get it. Hey man, and look, I'm not, you said you wouldn't want to go through the shit you've been through. I feel for you. I don't need sympathy. Like, I'm telling you, bro, like, I am blessed. I'm the lucky one. Like, we got to take our child home. We're lucky. We're so abundantly blessed. Like, to have Drew and the joy he is in our life and the amount of people who have been blessings to us through him, it's amazing. Like, I don't feel bad for me at all. I don't have any, I am abundantly blessed. You know, I've just seen a lot of shit. Way more shit than anybody should have to see. Julian Wilson, me and my brother enjoy your videos. Do you plan on attending Saints games this year? Man, I hope so, Julian. It's really hard because when it's part of your work day, especially when they play noon games, it's really tough because, you know, if I do whiskey and wine for an LSU night game, then usually I'm up past 2, 3 in the morning working. Then you crash, wake up, try to get to church, and you know, for a noon Saints game to get down to New Orleans is just, it's almost impossible. So, I mean, I try to make at least a game. Usually if it's like a, you know, if there's a primetime game or something, or if it's like a 3:25 game I could make, you know, I might try to do that. But we will be doing AFR from the Sazerac house on the Thursday of the Cowboys game. AFR from the Sazerac house that day. Jay Bohr, Matt, will Rohan Davey be on AFR anytime soon? Does he still like strawberry daiquiris? Jay, you missed it, man. He was on AFR yesterday, talking about the quarterback stuff. I believe his interview might be up. I don't know if we put it up on YouTube, but it is on demand if you want to check it out. But yeah, he'll be back on Tuesdays during the season. Do you think Georgia Tech regrets leaving the SEC? Georgia Tech and Tulane. Hell yeah, Walker, y'all. Stupidest decision ever. I was just saying it can be prevented if you get the vaccine and we can get back to normal. I don't want more people to die. I mean anything by it. I'm sorry. No, I get your point. Like, I get your point. And I'm with you, like, on the vaccine thing. There is a vaccine. Get it. I'm with you. And we will save people's lives. I'm 100% with you on that. The point was when you said it's not about percentages, they're people's lives. That's where I got set off. Because if you actually believe that is your ethos, then you're a fucking hypocrite because you don't practice the same thing as fervently as you do with other things that kill people every year. If it's RSV, if it's what about people that die from flu every year? Do you realize last year there was no flu anywhere? Flu didn't just disappear. You wonder why there was no flu last year? Because everyone was social distancing and wearing masks. It didn't spread. If we did that every year, no one would ever die from flu. But thousands of people die every year from influenza. Tens of thousands of people die from respiratory viruses in this country every single year. And we never mention it because it's not called COVID. If 100% of our society would get a flu shot, we would save thousands of lives every single year, but we don't. And you don't say shit on my stream every single year about why people should get a flu shot, but you sure as fuck do it right now. That's my point. Mark, who will back up Max Johnson? Nussmeier? Yes, it'll be Nussmeier. Craig, I miss filter changing Drew on Morning Scone. Those were the days. Yeah, man, that's when we were only on the phone. It was back facing, so he could go tap the phone and he would put filters on my face. I know. How about that? I think today was episode 1228. We have done Morning Scone 1,228 consecutive days. I never would have thought we'd have been on that kind of run when we started that thing. Let's see, any chance we could ever hear Mettenberger on AFR? Would be cool to hear what he's up to now. Heard he's coaching high school in Nashville. So Mettenberg, yeah, I'd love to get Zach on. I know he's kind of dude. Some of those guys, it's interesting. Like some guys are always down to come on air, and some just don't love doing it. Some just want to be private. They don't want to be in the spotlight. They don't want to do interviews. I've tried to get Zach before, but Zach, if I'm not mistaken, he married one of the coach's daughters. I think it was Wisenhunt. I think he married not Wisenhunt. Who was the coach of the Titans? Was it Wisenhunt? Mettenberger married the daughter of the Titans coach. I think it was Wisenhunt. Anyway. Anyway, but yeah, man. Bounced around, played in an Alliance of American Football thing. I think for the Memphis team, maybe, or Birmingham. So I don't know. I think he's coaching now up in Nashville, married, yeah. You don't hear much about LSU D-line. How are they looking this year? They are finally have depth again. Getting Glenn Logan, Neil Farrell back was huge. Getting Ali Gay and Andre Anthony back was huge. You got all seniors across your defensive line. And then you're backing them up with Justin Thomas, Jaquelin Roy, Jacoby and Guillory. You add Mason Smith. On the end, you got Ojolari. I mean, you're loaded on defensive line. Like, you have so much depth that you should be fresh there always. And honestly, man, like, that's what I expect from Ed Ogeron's teams. As much as he focuses on D-line, like, that should never... LSU allowing 6 yards a carry or whatever it was last year, that should never happen, man. So, yeah, Mason Smith. Let's see. Not Thomas. Who's the... not Justin Thomas. Mason Smith, not Justin Thomas. Oh, shit. I gotta study the roster. Guy that switched from offensive line. Let me see. Evans, Joseph Evans. That's what I was thinking of. Justin Thomas, Joseph Evans. That's what I was thinking of. Evans, yeah, there you go. Thank you. Nyquillis, you just missed a rant, bro. Scroll back about 5 minutes. They used to play Super Bowls in old Tulane Stadium. They were relevant back in the Stone Age. Yeah, man. But you have to be an NFL city to host a Super Bowl. You think the talent on this LSU defensive line is on par with the ballpark of the insane Clemson line from a couple of years ago? No, Roger. And look, man, that was 3 dudes on that line that all became first-round draft picks. Like, I don't think this defensive line among the starters is going to have 3 picks. Like Neil Farrell and Glenn Logan, Andre Anthony, they're not going to be first-rounders. Ali Gay's got a shot to be a first-rounder. And I think down the line, if Mason Smith develops or Jaquelin Roy, those guys could be high NFL draft picks. But I'm talking about the starters. So I think your depth is really good, but no, not that Clemson defensive line. I mean, that one in that championship year where they pistol whipped Bama, like, and then all the guys came back the next year. They had 3 first-rounders on that line, bro. This ain't that. It's just they got a lot of depth, which is great. Keegan Hayes, will LSU have 2 running backs with 5 rushing touchdowns this season? Will LSU have 1 running back with 10 rushing touchdowns? 10 rushing touchdowns, I'll say no. 2 with 5, I will say yes. Spurge, up with the depth on the O-line. It's non-existent, Spurge. That's the problem, man. Just because you have bodies doesn't mean you have depth. I mean, I don't even know that you have a great start. Like, I'm really hopeful for guys like, I hope Deculus has a great senior year. You know, Ed Ingram, I think, with a great year has a chance. Like, Ed Ingram has a chance to be a day 2 draft pick. Like, he really blows up, he might get first-round consideration. But, like, he has a great potential to be a day 2 pick, like a second or third round pick. Liam Shanahan, let's be honest, just isn't very good. Not at this level anyway. And Cam Wire hasn't played. I mean, Dan Rosenthal was a turnstile at times last year, and Wire couldn't take his job from him. So, man, O-line worries me. Be fair, Matt, what in the heck are the Pels doing? They got to have a bigger plan somewhere. I mean, they got to have a bigger plan. Whoops. Oh, man. Oh, there we go. Sorry, lost all the comments on Facebook. There they are. Sorry. Daniel Dorn, the Saints will start Taysom and run Wildcat. No, they won't. Matt, you in the swamp. You got Ragged Branch LSU edition to your left, the crazy ex-girlfriend to your right. Which way do you go? Crazy ex-girlfriend. I ain't touching Ragged Branch. That stuff's awful. Who's the most polished SEC quarterback star going into the year? I would say JT Daniels. I go JT Daniels and Matt Corral would be my two. I do not like Bo Nix. When Roe gets a liquor in him, watch out, shit off the rails. Rashad Bolden, what's up, man? Oh, man. Do you think the Saints should sign Chad O? Chad O. Chad O. Daniel, help me out here. Who's Chad O? Chad O. On a scale of 1 to DWI, how drunk are you? A 0. I mean, the only thing I had a sample of the pure Kentucky small batch XO that my buddy Stephen Roby gave me. This is all I've had. I mean, this was an ounce. So not at all. Let's see. I was in the YouTube rabbit hole that started with Ballistic Gel and ended with the best auditions of The Voice. Anyone got a solar system on the house I'm researching? No. Solar panels? No. Let's see. Shouldn't the camp with Davis as OL coach really help them improve? I hope so. I mean, he's got a great reputation as a technical offensive line coach. I really hope so. I'll be bound and built FSU on playing anybody away. Then after they were established, he opted to stay away from an SEC invite because of the schedule. What a colossal blunder in hindsight. Yeah. Different world of college football at the time. They were winning big. Does Max have the quick release and pocket presence to make the O-line look better than they are? I think it would be more so about play calling than just pocket presence and release. Less on Max, more on Pete's. Keegan Hayes, Kelvin Joseph, Dare Rosendahl. How's Kentucky doing it? They don't test for weed. I think running backs worry me more than the offensive line. This offensive system needs that Darren Sproles or that Clyde Edwards-Helaire. And I think the most likely guy to be that is John Emery, which really makes me wonder if he could take that step. Remember when we all thought the Wildcat would catch on? They're really going to let Miles practice in 2 weeks? No way. Oh, Chad O is Ocho Cinco. Oh, God. Chad O. Dude, I did not get that at all. No, Miles isn't going to practice in 2 weeks. Miles had surgery on Tuesday around noon over at Brock at Surgical Specialty. Dr. Bankston did it. Went well. 8 weeks is what I was told, provided everything goes perfectly. But, you have setbacks, could be longer. JT is a star this season for Georgia. Might finally get the Dogs over the hump. Maybe so. They got the defense this year, too. Curious if they have anybody to catch the ball. That's going to be a big if. Getting Eric Gilbert was massive. Ryan Dunn found Mettenberger's wedding video on YouTube. His wife has an entire arm sleeve that I wasn't expecting. Good for Zach, though. That sounds about right for Zach. Dude, Zach used to show him. His senior year, Zach took one online class. He had one online class his final semester. So he would show up at football ops every morning. Flip-flops, Starbucks, and he would just go watch film all day. He was a pro. That's all he did. Do the wide receivers have more drops because they're not used to the direction the ball is spinning? Didn't seem to affect Kayshon Boutte against Ole Miss, did it? I'm going to say no. That's why his reps are important, too, in camp. Everybody needs to work on his footwork. He's got good speed and vision, I think. They didn't do 10,000 catches last summer. No surprise at the drops. Well, but it also wasn't Max throwing left-handed. Because that's what he's talking about. It's like if you throw... The spin from a lefty is obviously different from the spin from a righty. So it does look different for a receiver because the ball's spinning differently. Similar for punt returners. If it's a left-footed punter, Donnie Jones used to talk about this all the time. From a left-footed punter, the ball spins differently for a receiver, for the punt returner. So that can throw some guys off. Time for real questions. What height setting do you cut your grass on? I don't cut my grass, bro. I haven't cut my grass since we left for Houston when Drew was in the hospital. While we were gone, we had to get someone to take care of our house while we were gone for that long. And I've just continued paying someone to do my grass because I don't feel like doing it. Matt, you going to UFC in Houston this weekend? I'm not. Thought long and hard about it, but I'm not. Keegan, which freshman wide receiver breaks out? I'm going to say Chris Hilton. I think Chris Hilton has that edge, bro. I think he's ready. He'll be the guy. Do you think Dwight McLaughlin will get significant play time this year? Yes. He was really good last year, especially as a nickel. Matt, you're tasked with doing a 24-hour telethon. What's your caffeine source of choice? So that's a good question. I would probably I love 5-hour energy. I think it gets me the most energy and focus, and I never crash or anything from it. But if I were doing a telethon, I was doing that. I might want to constantly sip on something, so I might pick like a Rain energy drink, and then so I could constantly be sipping on something. But then again, would I really be able to get up and go pee? So I might go 5-hour energy, or maybe just coffee. I don't know. I really don't know. Daryl, got a feeling Tigers are going to do better than 9 this year, Matt. That confused defense cost us so much. It did, no doubt. You also have a freshman quarterback, or a sophomore quarterback. An offensive line that's not very good. A running back position that's completely unsettled. I don't know who the hell is going to play tight end. I mean, I hope safety's better. Hope linebacker's better. Too many questions, man. It's too tough of a schedule. 9-3. Is there a good card on UFC this weekend? Yeah. Don't count out Besh either. Yeah, Ogeron said they're going to they're moving Besh to tight end. And I think he's got a really good shot to play early. Yeah, they said they're moving Besh to tight end. They need to. I mean, they bulked him up a little bit. So it'll kind of be a flex tight end. So you have an Apple Watch. What do you have your daily calorie burn goal set for? I have no idea, honestly. I don't know. I've had this for so long now, I don't even remember what I set it at whenever I got it. We're going to have a pitcher at tight end. Is Jack Bishop? Oh, Stores. Nick Stores. Yeah, don't forget about Stores. He could be a big body out there. Matt, were you at the New Year's Eve party in college at Blue Bonnet Apartments when Schwartz had a flashlight and was checking IDs? Okay, so that's one of those that I don't know if I remember being there or if I just remember hearing the story, so I'm assuming I was there. It's so stupid. Oh man, I'm gonna say I was not there. I don't remember being at New Year's Eve at Bluebonnet Place. I don't remember being there now. Can the SEC have its own playoff for the title once Texas and Oklahoma join? Not far off, Officer Schwartz. Is there any real reason to believe Auburn will be better than LSU this year? No. Vegas has Auburn at 7 wins, over under. They got LSU at 8.5. I think LSU is about a 6-point early line, 6-point home favorite against Auburn. Yeah, I think Auburn's going to struggle this year a lot. I mean, Tank Bigsby's a really good running back. And Bo Nix is a 3-year starter. I mean, maybe he catches fire with the new coach. But, no. And I think Derek Mason is a horribly overrated defensive coordinator. I think people were being nice about him because his teams were so bad at Vanderbilt. They're like, well, he was a good defensive coordinator. Not really. I mean, the Stanford team, it was like John Chavis at LSU. When you run the ball and your defense is only on the field for 45 plays a game, of course you're going to give up 208 yards. I mean, you're on the field for 45 plays. Your offense is playing ball control. I don't think Derek Mason's a good defensive coordinator. What's Little C up to? Was he working the station for a bit? Little C lives in Chicago now, working up there. Who wins the Egg Bowl? Ole Miss, Duval, besides yourself, who's the best betting or sports media person? I don't know. I'm sorry. I wouldn't normally just shy away from an answer, but I mean, you talking radio? You talking TV? I don't know. Mario Aber, you think A&M is overrated? I do. I do this year. They lose 4 starters on the offensive line, a 4-year starter at quarterback. I think their defense is going to be really good. And they have obviously a really good running back with Spiller coming back. But maybe it's just one of those things where the schedule plays in their favor. But, man, I'm not super big on A&M this year. I guess back to your question about who's the best media personality. Here's the problem I have, legitimately. The problem I have is that I don't consume other people's stuff. And I've told y'all this before, and I think some people just don't believe me, but I don't spend my time listening to the radio or watching other people's vlogs or listening to their podcasts or watching the news. I just don't. So, I mean, there's people I really like in the media in town who are friends and colleagues, but I mean, I guess I think of it nothing is appointment listening for me or watch or viewing for me. So I'm not dodging your question. I just really not qualified to answer. I think that's to each their own. Whoever you enjoy watching or listening to, do that. I mean, there's so many people creating content. I mean, just, Buddy or Blake Andrews. What's Kevin Steele up to? I don't know. Counting his buyout money from Tennessee. JD is pretty damn good. Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of people that are talented. A&M and Florida are going to be bad. See, I think Florida's going to be good. I think Florida's going to be better than people think. A&M is going to be worse than people think. What the hell did Lil C do in Chicago? I don't know what he's doing up there, but he's working up there. A&M is going to be bad, but overrated. I agree with that. Like, I think A&M, I don't think A&M is a 10-win team. Who was your first guest ever on AFR? My first guest ever on AFR, if I'm not mistaken, I believe it was Mike Scarborough. And in a random twist, that is literally the only time Mike Scarborough was ever on AFR. Because at the time, Hanny, who was, the program director of 104.5 ESPN, made a couple of administrative decisions. One was get Mike Scarborough to talk recruiting, and the other was that he was bullish on Mike Detillier and he was going to be on the show for an hour every week on Thursday. That was a Hanny directive. Well, he's batting 500. Mike D ended up being awesome, obviously. But at the time, ESPN had affiliated websites, affiliated team sites. ESPN made a run at the recruiting game for a hot minute, and they had affiliated team sites. And ESPN's LSU site was Bayou Bengals Insider, run by one Derek Panamsky. Well, after the first AFR, where we had Mike Scarborough on, one of the guys who was paying, it was the money behind that site, was livid that an ESPN affiliated station wouldn't have the ESPN affiliated recruiting guy on the show. Not that we weren't affiliated with him at all, it didn't fucking matter at all, but so from that point on, Derek came on the show as the recruiting guy, and then ultimately Derek ended up working with us. So how about that? How about that as a little bit of a throwback? Do you get into any of the Bourbon collection things, like spelling Blanton's or collecting all the keys? So I would like to spell Blanton's, and I do. Like, you can probably see the little horses lined up there. I mean, I'm trying to get those, so I do try to collect those, yeah. Collecting the keys, no, but that's probably the only thing. I listen to Matt Moscone. He's pretty all right. First LSU game attended. So first game I remember, and I don't really remember the game, I just remember the circumstance, the Miami game in '88, because it was in a driving rainstorm. We lived in New Orleans. Me, my dad, my brother, and my rec league football coach all drove up and went to the game, and we sat in the northeast turn in a driving rainstorm. I remember that. I don't remember much about the game. LSU got their ass kicked, but I do remember just sitting in the rain. We went to a lot of games back then. We would drive up from New Orleans and go to the games. I just don't remember a lot about the games. I just know we were there. Really looking forward to seeing A&M take a solid gun punch back in their proper place this year. When does Hunt show start? Monday. Hunt and Jeremy Hill on Monday. I don't know if I should put that out there, but if you have it, you had it. Do you listen to it? Please don't out me on that one. Well, hell, it's out there, whatever. If y'all have it, whatever. Do you listen to any podcasts? I like Malcolm Gladwell, the what's he called? Revisionist History. I like that podcast. I do like How I Built This. But nothing that has anything. I don't listen to any podcasts that have anything to do with sports. If that's your question, I'm telling you, I don't consume other people's sports content, and it's not conceit. It's not because I think I'm better. It's just no one else's opinion is going to alter my opinion. I'll create my own opinions. I'll express them the way I feel them. And if people like what I have to say or don't, whatever, if they listen, great. If they don't and no one ever listens to me again, then I'll find something else to do professionally. I just don't care what someone else's opinion is on sports. I just don't care about their opinion. Like, and I'm not saying like your opinion is not valid. I'm just saying I don't care. I don't care what it is. I don't have any interest in listening to anyone else's opinion. Like, I don't know any other way to say that makes me sound not like a dick, because I'm not saying that your opinion doesn't matter. I'm not saying you shouldn't express your opinion. I'm just saying I'm never going to go seek out content where I'm listening to somebody else's opinion. I don't know if that makes sense. Sorry if it doesn't. Mike is now a weekly guest on Buddy's show. I didn't even know Buddy was still doing a show. Whenever the final, I'm being dead serious, I really didn't know. Whenever the final AFR airs, who will the last guest be? I don't know. Hopefully that's not for a really long time. When do we finally get Texas at home so we can put their band in the nosebleeds? Scone and Haney battle in the Octagon for BR Media Championship, $75 pay-per-view. Haney would have trouble with that, I'm not going to lie. Fake hip and all. I'm so out of the loop. I just found out Miles Brennan got hurt 5 minutes ago when Matt said he had surgery. Yeah. Oh, really? Poor Mario and Moose. So there might be an opportunity for Mario and Moose as well. Stay tuned. Cameron Kemp, top 5 TV shows all time, like sitcoms. I mean, I love Seinfeld. I was a big TGIF guy, so I loved, Family Matters and Full House and all that stuff. Friends could certainly be in there. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. That's just sitcoms. We're just talking sitcoms. I love Curb Your Enthusiasm. You got to listen to the Your Mom's House podcast. I promise you I won't, but okay. Only thing I listen to is the old Opie and Anthony radio shows. I teach their own, man. That's my point. It's just the thing that's hilarious is when people say, because some people do say, "Oh, Matt, you're like, you don't have any competition," and I'm like, well, first of all, there's no terrestrial radio competition because I killed them all. Secondly, there's never been more competition because everything, there's never been more competition with podcasts and YouTube and vlogs and everything all the time, everywhere, like cutting through that noise and standing out. Like, so it's a double-edged sword, right? The cost of entry, the barrier to entry has never been lower. Anybody can get in. So it makes it a very crowded space. Similarly, it's never been harder to succeed because it's such a crowded space. How do you create your own opinions about sports? What are your sources for professional sports or collegiate programs outside of LSU athletics? I watch games. And then I tell you what I think. I mean, I don't need somebody to tell me. I guess my point is, like, I don't need someone to tell me what to think. I don't. I don't know. Does that make sense? I don't know. Maybe it just makes sense in my head. Maybe it's why it works. I don't know. Right, Matt. If you listen to sports, it would be like me doing chemistry when I get home. That's work. You need a break from work when you aren't working. Does that work for you? That's right. Like, an attorney wouldn't go home and read law books. You know what I mean? Gulf South, if you don't care about the opinions of others, why do you have so many guests on your show that all have their own opinions? Great question. Just because I have other people give their opinion doesn't mean their opinion is going to influence mine. Does that make sense? And I think there is a clear benefit of having people on the show who know things that I don't. When I have Rohan Davey on, I can ask him questions about playing quarterback or offense or things like that I just don't know. When I have Dr. Etheridge on to talk about a humerus bone injury, that's really informative to the audience because I can't fill in that gap. Sometimes guests that I have on are intended really just for entertainment. Like when I have Lee on, I mean, no one's going to confuse Lee with a dude that's super in the know. Like at one point in his career he was, but really it's just the contrast of old former sport. It's kind of like the Greg Cody thing on the Levitard show, where like you have this like old kind of checked out sports writer from a different era who's talking about back in my day stuff, and it just plays, it plays, that's all. But it's a good question. I think there's certainly benefit to the audience to hearing other voices, but it doesn't mean that anything anybody says is going to influence my opinion on the matter, if that makes sense. Like, I don't need to seek out what does so-and-so think about this before I go on air so I know what to say, kind of thing. Wow. Brett, all right, I'm gonna go fast. God, it's 10:50. By the way, hit the like button, please, if you're still watching. If you haven't hit the like button on YouTube, that would be tremendously helpful. And I am just reading YouTube comments. I haven't read Facebook comments. It's all. I'm so sorry. Devin Kelly, what's up, man? What are y'all talking about over here? Pat Huseman, what's up, man? Dude, y'all are having your own conversation. I'm so sorry. I'm like ignoring y'all over here. Sorry. Jordy let the cat out of the bag on his show about Hunt. Damn it, did I just screw up? I hope I didn't screw up by letting that out. I don't know how they're going to make a big announcement. I'm surprised they haven't already. Like, it's Monday. Why wouldn't they start ramping that up? Anyway, I don't know. Buddy's on 1 to 3 in the TuneIn app on 9:10 a.m. Can't get on regular radio dial. Interesting. Daryl, Matt, I hate to beat a dead horse, but I've listened to you for years. I think if you gave Bill Burr a listen, Daryl, you're probably right. Like, I probably would like him. I'm just telling you, there's not enough time in my day to give a shit to go listen to Bill Burr. Like, it's 10:52, and I'm doing this because I get to wear a Hudco hat and hopefully inspire somebody to let us do a roof inspection at some point, talk sports, communicate with all you guys, have a good time. And then I'm going to shower and go to bed. And I'm going to wake up and I'm going to get Drew's feeding tube started, and I'm going to come sit here and do morning scone. And after morning scone, I'm going to get in my car and I'm going to drive to work and probably make phone calls while I drive to work. And then I have a client meeting at 9:30. I'll go to my client meeting at 9:30, then go to work. When I get there, I'm going to record the Locked On podcast, upload that, then start prepping for AFR. Then when I leave AFR, I'm going to run over to Drew's school because we have parent-teacher conference. And then after that, I'm going to come home, eat some dinner at like 9 o'clock at night, and probably not listen to Bill Burr. So I'm just not going to be listening to Bill Burr, man. Whatever you do, keep doing it. Works for your show. Seriously. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. Married with children. Bigger crush as a kid. DJ Tanner. Topanga. DJ Tanner I didn't think was cute as a kid. But she's grown up to be a very nice looking older lady. Not older lady, but oh, Saved by the Bell. Yeah. Murder Draft. What do you do for fun? This. I have fun doing this. Working actually is fun for me. I do something I love. So it doesn't feel like work. I like doing this. I like doing companion shows. I like doing morning scone. That's what I do. Just watched The Irishman for the first time. Took me almost a week to get through it. Don't know what that is. Gotta listen to Joe Rogan podcast. I have heard Joe Rogan. I heard Joe Rogan's pod. I like Joe Rogan because he's on UFC. I heard Joe Rogan. We were driving home. Me, Jordy, and T-Bob driving home from the Peach Bowl. and Jordy had Rogan on. It was good. Topanga breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Are other markets as saturated as LSU's is? LSU isn't that saturated. I work on cars all day, and I watch car shows when I'm home, but only after I finish AFR. Thank you. Jerry DeLucky, good evening from Sedona. Playing some golf and doing some hiking. There you go, Jerry. What's up, man? Kenneth Hugh, thanks, Matt. You gave some spark to New Orleans with 100.3. Much needed. Thank you, man. Dude, our footprint in New Orleans has grown tremendously. Like, between you, me, and the wall, a big reason why WWL pulled Mike D was to get him off my show. Mike's awesome and he's phenomenal, and putting him on an afternoon drive there was a no-brainer. But a big reason they did that was, we've stolen a lot of their market share. Keegan Hayes, how would you like to find out about breaking news regarding a sports team that wouldn't be readily apparent in the context of a game or match, though? Twitter. Nyquillis. Lee walked by our tailgate in college. I was the only person that recognized him. He pulls out a video camera the size of a mini fridge and films me going crazy. He's a beauty. He really is a beauty. What kind of guy is Feinbaum in person? Nice guy. Paul, we've always had a good relationship. He's cordial, kind of soft-spoken. He's done really well. You're lying, Matt. You're doing this for the sole reason that you want to hang out with me, but don't have onions to come over. You can listen to Bill Burr's podcast in your car, but I won't murder Giraffe because usually when I'm in my car, I am making phone calls. That's my 18-minute drive is usually the time when I make phone calls. If I'm not making phone calls, I probably have on 104.5 ESPN. So in the morning, I might catch 10 minutes of Hester and T-Bob. That would be probably the extent of what I get. It would be awesome to do a weekly segment with Josh Innes during football and get the band back together. Yeah, man, I am on the phone. The whole it's like a 15-minute ride. It's not that far. And yes, that's usually when I make calls. A big part of my job that I think a lot of people don't know about is client relations. So I have over 20 companies that I endorse, and keeping in touch with my clients is important. So that's when I make a lot of those phone calls. How's it going this week? Are any of our messages hitting? Should we pivot? Talking points? All that, just being in touch matters. So yeah. Whenever I leave work, the first thing I do in the evening after my show when I get in the car is I call Erica. Usually I make other calls. What's the plan for whiskey and wine? Jordy's out, right? He is. So it looks like it's going to be me and Rohan. Looking forward to it. Golf's up. Been working in BR the past few weeks. Notice 104.9's reception is so much better than 104.5's. Why is that? Probably depends where you are. So 104.5 and 104.9 are classified as low power FMs with the FCC. So their FM signals are circular. So think of 104.5 like this and 104.9 like this, or maybe how you're looking at it be backwards, and they overlap like this. So in whole, both signals together make one big signal, but where you are in town really determines which one you should be listening to, 5 or 9. So it really depends on where you are in town. Twitter is the source. We found it. I'm on Twitter all day. That's where people go to break news now. Do you do on-air interviews with out-of-town stations in the car? A lot, actually. Yes. A lot of times I'll plan them that way, where I can do the interview while I'm driving somewhere to be more efficient. I definitely try to maximize my time in the car to be efficient, yes. you can't listen to 104.5 or 9, listen to the app. Bingo. I think we're just about done here, man. Been on here long. Been on an hour and 36 minutes. Craig, I listened to a dumb podcast where the host claimed to have inside knowledge and cried because someone said at A&M said BR stinks. You are the leader, they are followers. Someone cried. Someone at A&M said Baton Rouge stinks. Yeah, bro. Like radio should, when people do lists and greatest this, worst that, like, oh fuck, it's the worst radio in the world. Oh my God, I just can't. I can't, bro. It's like a lot of it, and too much of it is that. I just can't listen to it. Other people listen to Matt for show prep so they know what to say. I'm humbled. What's up, Devin Kelly? Been a minute, man. Hope you're doing good. I'll only believe what Dwayne from Thibodeau predicts. You got another Weller 12? Dude, I do not have an extra CYPB. That's my only one. But I'll trade you the Weller 12. I'll trade you the Delmar T. Lee for the 12. All right, y'all. I'm going to go to bed. Actually, I'm going to shower and then go to bed. Thanks for watching, man. Do me a solid. Please hit the thumbs up if you haven't yet. Appreciate that. And I have tagged on Facebook both Hudco and My Clean Living. MyCleanLiving.net. That's the air purifiers y'all have heard me talk about. If you know anybody, schools, daycares, office buildings, any public places that are leery of COVID and looking to cut down on transmission rate, purify spaces, it's a great way to do it. MyCleanLiving.net, or maybe for your home or your office, whatever. Can you hit the thumbs up twice? I wish you could. The Monday morning podcast is something you can get into. You need to keep overrated, underrated. Don't let Moose do the list. Who should do the list? I have a feeling who you're going to say. Good night, Bill Burr. Why do people say Baton Rouge smells like corn dogs? I think that was an old Nebraska thing, wasn't it? That they just altered to say LSU. Well, of course, Nyquillis is going to say me, of course. All right, y'all. Let's get out of here. Y'all have a great night. Thanks to the 15 brave souls who are hanging on with us on Facebook. Appreciate y'all. 16, yes. All right, y'all have a great night. We'll see you for morning scone in like 8 hours. See ya.